lot of his supporters believe that we are the enemy of the American people, and that is really, really an awful situation. We are not the enemy of the American people. We love the American people. We are not the enemy of the American people. We love the American people. We love the American people. We love the American people.
They came in peace.
We are not the enemy of the American people. We love the American people.
This is CNN.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we officially live in a world where truth doesn't matter anymore. Take this image of a little girl. What does it look like at first? Hold on, we're experiencing technical. Oh, here we go. It's up on the screen. My bad. Look at this image of a little girl. What would you think if you hadn't seen this image before, you hadn't had anyone tell you what it represents? It's a little girl crying. Indeed, it's a little sad to see. The media, however, has spun this image into insane proportions. They have lied and said that this girl was separated from her parents at the Mexican border by Donald Trump. This is not the truth. Sarah Sanders exposed this at a White House press briefing. And I feel like as Americans, we're not taking the gravity of the situation into effect. We have been lied to by every single media organization other than maybe Fox News into thinking that this little girl was separated from her parents, and this generated outrage. People on the street, I interviewed a couple of people yesterday, and we talked about this, and they were like, the images at the border, it's insane. I don't know much about the situation, but it's bad what Trump is doing. And when they were talking about the images at the border, they were referring to this image. Symbols like this, false symbols in this example, have the ability to persuade the American people into believing something that is not actually true. And that's a big problem. CNN has been caught lying over and over and over again, and they are never criticized. Well, the message I want to deliver to you today, people, is that we need to criticize them. And it's not enough just to watch videos like this at InfoWars and Breitbart and other right-wing news outlets. It's not enough to just watch this and know the truth for yourself. You have to spread the truth because we're not waking up enough people in America. And that's the true issue. The good thing is we are spreading the news and we are spreading the truth, and we are letting stories like this get out where people actually know the truth of what's going on. But at the same time, we also have people on CNN saying that everyone that voted for Trump is an evil person. We have people like that are so clearly biased, we forget to call them out on their BS because we've been so saturated with it. We're so used to being run over by the people that lie constantly that we don't criticize them. And that's a big problem. Now, I don't know if we have the video, but there was a man on a liberal news outlet very recently who said that not just Trump, but all his supporters are evil. And I want to go to this clip and I want to talk to you about something. Can we go to the clip?
What has to happen now, this can no longer be about who Trump is. It has to be about who we are. If we are working towards November, we can no longer say Trump's the bad guy. If you vote for Trump, you're the bad guy. If you vote for Trump, you are ripping children from parents' arms. The mistake that we've made in the past is look at that bad guy over there, look at that bad guy. What the Democrats have to do is make the next election a referendum on not who Trump is, but who you are. If you vote for Trump, then you, the voter, you, not Donald Trump, are standing at the border like Nazis, going, you here, you here. And I think we now have to flip it. And it's a given, the evilness of Donald Trump. But if you vote, you can no longer separate yourself. You can't say, well, he's okay, but. And I think that gymnastics and I think that jujitsu has to happen.
Trump is not a Nazi. I'm sorry, he's not. Wanting to defend America and having strong borders does not make one a Nazi. Nearly every other country, except for some European countries, which are now seeing the true devastation that immigration from the migrant crisis is destroying Europe. Other countries like the U.S. Still has somewhat of a strong border, and Trump just wants to enforce that. Trying to keep our country safe does not make Trump a Nazi. It does not make Trump evil, and it does not make you evil if you support that belief. If you feel that our country should be strong, that does not make you evil. If you feel like our country should be sovereign and should not have to take in droves and droves of people, that does not make you a Nazi. That makes you an American that is concerned about our country. The liberals are only obsessed with this certain issue because they want the voter base. They want amnesty for all, and they want everyone to come in, become a U.S. citizen, and then vote liberal. That hurts our republic. That hurts America. We have to have a vetting process. We have to leave the criminals out and let the skilled workers come in. This is how it has always been. This is how it should be. But according to liberals, that's not how it should be. They want everyone in. It is truly ridiculous to say that America should not have borders and that Trump is evil for saying that America should have borders. A country is only a country if it has borders. A country is only a country if it stands by itself. If a country didn't have borders, it would just kind of be a free space for everyone to go, and it wouldn't turn out right. So my question to the liberals that may be listening to this broadcast, my question is, how do you not recognize those basic facts, and how do you not understand that a border is necessary for a country? Now, I want to show the image again of the child, and I want to get a point across. I want to show this image and convey to you one solid point. Human suffering is bad. People living in fear, living in panic is bad. And I understand that Mexico is a war-torn area with gang violence and a drug epidemic that is threatening their nation. And it's a bad thing. And I understand there are people coming over that want a better life. But you can't say that without showing the other kind of people that want to come in. It's not just families that want to come in because their country is a war-torn country. Also, people coming in, there are murderers coming in. There are drug dealers. There are child traffickers. There's been a 310% increase in the number of child trafficking in the last few weeks coming near the border. Most of the children being separated from their parents don't have adequate documentation to prove that their parents, the people that say they're their parents, are actually their parents. And in some cases, they are child traffickers. It is a security measure to make sure that violent felons don't get into the country. This kind of makes sense to me. And when CNN and other news outlets say that Trump is evil for trying to secure our nation and trying to keep us safe from sex traffickers, then you got to wonder, do they have like a learning disability? Can they not understand basic facts? And it just makes me wonder. I mean, when we look at all these articles, this is the child. This is the child right here. Can we switch back to the main camera? This is the mother of that same child who's in the picture. She was not separated from her parents. Jennifer Lopez spread fake news, put the image on her Instagram, got thousands of likes from her liberal followers, saying that the child was separated from their parents. That's like someone saying, that's like the liberal media saying something like, a bank was robbed today. And then 5 days later, they come out and say, a bank was not robbed today. People were outraged about the bank being robbed, but it turns out the bank wasn't robbed at all. So you got to understand, why is the public not outraged about this? The news is out there. It's been out there for a while that this was a staged thing, that the child was really still with her mother. But unfortunately, as Americans, we don't care what the truth is. We only care what the mainstream media tells us. And it's part of the big disconnect that we have as a country to believe that only CNN is right when they have been disproven thousands and thousands of times. I mean, just look at what they said about the election. Trump, there's no way Trump can win. There's no way Trump could ever win. He's not going to win the general election. Our polls show this. Our polls show that. Trump wins general election. CNN is proven wrong. CNN lies. And when CNN puts out a story like this, you as a thinking American, not necessarily a genius American, not even a smart one, just as someone that has the brain capacity to pass a 5th grade math exam, you have to examine it and say, is this true? And then when it turns out it's not true, you can't generate public outrage. CNN has generated public outrage about this. Everyone I know is mad about this. I had friends of mine, old friends of mine that I used to go to school with, messaging me and going, your family is evil for supporting Trump. Trump is tearing children apart. And one of my friends even sent me this picture and he said, look at this. He said, look at this. Your daddy's a monster for supporting Trump. He tears families apart. I can't be friends with you anymore. That's what he said to me. Look what happens. That picture is not true. And I just lost a friend. CNN does this to people every day. And it's not just the pictures, it's the portrayals. Look at Time Magazine. Look at this image of Time Magazine that we have up screen. That is targeted political propaganda. That is not a bipartisan little picture to show both sides of the argument. No, that is Trump staring down at a child. And if you had no knowledge of American politics and you saw this picture, I bet you would think Trump was a monster. And if someone said Trump is ripping families apart, I bet you'd think Trump was a monster. But when you're targeted by propaganda like this every day, and you're the average American that does not know the truth, that hasn't woken up, you probably do hate Trump like that. When you're targeted by direct political propaganda, and it's not slight, that is an image of Donald Trump standing over a crying child. Ridiculous. Time Magazine is not an openly liberal magazine. I believe that their position, they claim to say, it's pretty bipartisan. Does that look bipartisan to you? Because it doesn't to me. It's that liberal hatred. They create hateful pieces of propaganda for the average American citizen to look at and go, man, I hate Trump. But in reality, Trump is saving us. Trump is saving us from sex traffickers. Trump is saving us from murderers and rapists. Trump is saving us from that 310% increase in sex trafficking that I talked about earlier. Excuse me, human trafficking. Trump is saving us from these issues. And we're biting the hand that he's giving us all these wonderful things. Economy's doing great. He's fighting the immigration crisis. And instead we say, how dare you help us? How dare you try to make our country secure? We want more filth. We want what's going on in Europe right now. I mean, you look at France. Look at what is going on. Muslims in the streets, openly wanting Sharia law. Now, if you're a moderate Muslim, that's fine. But radical Islam is a terror to the West. Sharia law is incompatible with the United States. And that itself, I wonder what the liberals will start crying. Trump is racist and sexist and bigoted. He doesn't want Muslims coming into the United States. But then at the same time, the feminists that you'll hear say that and say that Trump is a Nazi for not wanting Muslims in, they don't say anything about a woman's testimony is half of a man's in a rape trial and gay people should be thrown off buildings. No, they don't say anything about that. They don't mention it. It's only that Trump is bad. It's only that Trump is bad. And when you look at people like that, people that believe Trump is evil and refuse to look at the statistics and the real facts and the real truth, you have to wonder, can I reach this person or is this person beyond hope? And I say, you can reach those people. And that's why you got to continue to try. Because most people that have been fed the idiotic brainwashing, the propaganda like that Trump picture, they've never heard a dissenting viewpoint. Steven Crowder, he goes to universities and does change my mind segments and actually changes people's minds. And they wake up to the fact. People that were hardcore liberals change their mind on gun policy, to give an example. And that's what you have to do as an American. Show people this video, show people other videos. Go to Infowars.com, show people the articles. And I believe if we do that, we have a real shot at waking Americans up. But if you don't, and you're just content to say, I know the truth, but I'm too lazy to share it with other people. If if you don't start your own YouTube channel, if you don't start your own news organization, if you don't start looking into things for yourself, if you're content to just know the truth for yourself and keep it to yourself, then you're worse than the uninformed liberal because you know the truth and you're refusing to share it with people. You're like Prometheus. If Prometheus didn't choose to share the flame with humanity, humanity would have died out. You know that old Greek myth. You have a choice, America. You can be like Prometheus, or the fire of humanity can die out and we can become we can go back to the Stone Age. We can let mass throngs of criminal immigrants come in through the Mexican border, and we can let refugees coming in from Islamic countries institute Sharia law and take us back 1,000 years. We have that choice as a country. You got to make that choice for yourself. But I know that I'm going to be out here as much as I can every day to spread the truth because it is important. It is vitally important that we save our country from the scourge of illegal immigration. If you're a skilled worker, if you're a smart guy or woman, if you're a hard worker, then I believe you should have the right to come to the United States of America. Immigrate legally. There is a process for that. And Trump has said he wants to make that process easier. But if you are someone that has crossed our border and committed a felony, well, by God, I believe you should be kicked out of our country. Because if you don't have respect for our laws, then you don't deserve to be here. I'm Rex Jones from Forwards.com. And if you're listening to this transmission, you are the resistance.
My understanding is that you went out with this protection. My understanding is that you went out with this protection. Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property. Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property. Was it difficult? Was it difficult?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Maybe as a child you don't see the connection. It created no problem at all.
No feeling of guilt.
No. Well, actually, funny way, it's just like in markets that if I weren't there, somebody else would be taking it away anyhow. In other words, whether I was there or not, the property was being taken away. So I had no sense of guilt.
Defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
A lot of his supporters believe that we are the enemy of the American people, and that is really, really an awful situation. We are not the enemy of the American people. We love the American people. We are not the enemy of the American people. We love the American people. We love the American people. We love the American people.
They came in peace.
We are not the enemy of the American people. We love the American people.
This is CNN.
If you are receiving this transmission,